So let's start with, in fact, Sam Conn and Justin Williams in The Athletic today, writing a full-fledged preview about the Big 12 and many things that they included, but this was predictions with a lot to get to. But they put the teams in the Big 12 into 4 tiers. Sam Conn and Justin Williams. Tier 1, Texas, Kansas State, and Oklahoma. Let's go through the tiers, and then we'll discuss it backwards and forwards, and we've also all had our predictions about what might happen. Tier 2, Texas Tech, TCU, and Baylor. Tier 3, Oklahoma State, Kansas, and UCF. And in Tier 4, there are 5 schools: West Virginia, BYU, Iowa State, Cincinnati, and Houston. I don't know if anything's in order. I think it is top to bottom in each tier, and there you go.
Yeah, I get putting Oklahoma in Tier 1 because they have one of the better quarterbacks in the league coming back. I do think, though, they need to kind of earn it back a little bit and prove that they are still Oklahoma, and that, you know, last year was just kind of an outlier. But yeah, I mean, Texas, Kansas State, Oklahoma, that's 3 of the best returning quarterbacks. I think the best returning quarterback, in my opinion, is Daniels at Kansas. But, you know, he's there lurking around, and he's not the reason they're not in the top tier. It's because of the defense has to prove something there. So I agree with Tier 1. I think you could have a little bit more transference between Tier 2 and Tier 3, though. I don't think there's as much space, but that's the conference, right? Like, putting this one into into tiers, you know, there's not really, and I think this will probably be true at the end of the year. The amount of difference between 5 and 14 in this league will not be the difference between 5 and 14 in other similar-sized leagues.
Yeah, I don't have too much of an issue there with we're going by tier, right? So Tier 1, I don't have too much of an issue with that. I do kind of groan a little bit when I see Oklahoma just, you know, and Texas in there automatically. I mean, Texas I understand because I have said, and I think, you know, agree with most people that they are the favorite overall to win, and they should be the favorite overall to win this year. I think, you know, the word talent is like a bad word when you talk about Texas, but it's just true this year. I mean, it's true. It's on paper. It's in the measurements. It's all over that roster. They have no excuses. I mean, absolutely none to not be the favorite in the Big 12 this year. So, you know, that's going to be, with this being the final run, a huge topic week to week, I'm sure, with not only everybody watching their own teams, but those who are wanting Texas to flame out, or, you know, somebody not named Oklahoma or Texas to win the Big 12 in the long run. There's going to be a little bit more rooting against, I think, than we've seen in years past. But, you know, as far as the love they're getting, there's a lot of other years where you could roll your eyes and be, you know, perfectly in the right to do so. I don't think that's the case this year. So I'm totally fine with them being there. K-State, I get why. You know, I still feel like we sort of just go, yeah, Deuce Vaughn's gone, but they got DJ Giddens and they got Trayshawn Ward, so no big deal. We just kind of go around it, you know? And I'm like, those guys are good, but Deuce Vaughn is pretty dead cut. Like, he's like special. So, you know, they're still going to be able to run the football, but are they going to be able to run it, you know, as dynamically and have the types of plays with regularity that they had with Deuce Vaughn? I'm not so sure about that, but they should still be very good on the ground. I just think that we sort of just, well, they won't skip a beat. It'll be fine. And I'm like, I don't know.
I think who's going to be missed more at running back, Bijan or Deuce Vaughn?
Bijan probably, yeah.
But I think they'll be able to replace Deuce's numbers as far as yards and, you know, things like, they'll be able to move the ball on the ground as steady like he was. What I don't think between Giddens and Ward will be the, oh, crap. Like, if you're like, oh, here he goes. Yeah. Like, you're not going to see that as much because there's only a few guys that are like that. You know, I do think that, you know, to answer your question, yeah, Bijan was just such a, I mean, he is an absolute unicorn when it comes to running backs now.
But in the offense, Texas has so much more in that room to replace him with compared to what Kansas State has.
I don't think so,
I think that Bijan is so unique, though, that he's kind of head and shoulders above maybe a lot of the running backs who've been out in the last few years. I mean, he's kind of a once in every few years type of player.
Yeah, well, with Deuce, all I'm saying is that I think that there's going to be some of those special moments they had with him that are just automatically replaced by DJ Giddens and by Trayshawn Ward. That's what I'm saying. So, you know, having said that, I still think they're deservedly in the top tier, and that of the returning teams that aren't moving after this year, they are the best looking team on paper and the one that I would feel the most confident in. So totally fine with them being there. in tier number 1. As far as the argument, like on stars, yeah, Texas outranks them, but I think Giddens and Ward have shown a bit more than at this point Brooks and Baxter and some of the other Texas running backs. Like, they certainly got a lot of talent, but we might be splitting hairs really with that right now because they're both missing superstars, but have a lot of talent
in their own unique way.
Yeah, in their own unique way. And then Oklahoma, I think with Dylan Gabriel at quarterback, that's a big step forward for them. If they were replacing a quarterback, I think there'd be far more grave concerns. But I do think a year under everybody's belt, kind of knowing the routine now at this point, I'm expecting them to be better than last year by a long shot. So I don't know about tier 1. I kind of teeter with them, but I understand why you would have them in tier 1. I can at least see that, so I'm okay with the tier 1.
Well, we don't. It's hard to argue, but in the Big 12, it's easy to argue, but it's hard because this conference has someone in that bottom of tier 2 or someone in tier 3 will make a run like they have in recent years. Dustin Archambault, I hope I said that right, Dustin. As an Oklahoma State fan, I haven't picked Texas in years. I do think, though, and believe this could be their best year in years. I do agree with 365 Sports. Somebody else said, I think may have been Paxton, Kansas State does not have the 5 stars right now on their depth chart or even on their roster to replace Deuce, where Texas does have at least those type of players.
I would caution Texas fans on throwing stars out based on what's happened to some of those stars in the last 15 years. And
their running back stars seem to be have been pretty good.
Yeah, but like if you're, you can have all the 5 stars. You ask any Texas fan who suffered this time thinking that this is the year since 2009, and they'll tell you, but we have 5 stars and 4 stars. Well, those stars.
Yeah. Well, one of the other things is both teams have really, really good people coming back on the offensive line. Texas, of course, has built that offensive line over the last couple of years.
Yeah, they have. And K-State's got a big anchor coming back with Cooper Beebe, and, they've got a lot return on that side of the ball. I mean, as far as the stars conversation goes, Deuce Vaughn was a 3-star.
Yep.
So who gives a damn? I mean, that's great that you got a bunch of 5s, but he was a 5 by the end of his college career. So, DJ Giddens or Trayshawn Ward, or I don't know what those guys off the top of my head, probably 4-star-ish type players.
Trayshawn Ward was a walk-on at FSU.
Okay, well, no, he wasn't, but I feel like they could be coached up and be just fine in that offense without 5s. So I see where you're coming from, though, on that. But, yeah, I mean, Texas has a lot of talent in the back. I don't worry about the backfields for either team. If we're going to have questions, I don't think it's in the backfield. I just don't know if they have that magic moment player that they had in Deuce Vaughn. That's all I was getting at.
All right. Again, and Deuce Vaughn, of course, a phenomenal talent. He's already had kind of a really nice start in the preseason for the Dallas Cowboys. All right. So there is that. One of the things about Texas,